Welcome to the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. Your adventure into the world of comic book movies starts here.
Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another adventure of the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. My name is Travis from Watchmen Minute.
And I'm Patrick, with special guest.
You know him, you love him, from Back to the Future and Inner Space. Not one of the actors from either of those movies.
Man, I was so stoked.
It's our buddy Brett.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I
Excited.
loved your work in Inner Space in the original Back to the Future. Basically, you played a fetus.
It's weird that that fact didn't come up on either of those recordings.
Yeah, it's a slow burn.
Yeah, we're terrible at this.
It'd be so awesome.
Yeah. Have a
This
star
whole
from the
time
movie
we've
and
had
never
a movie
mention
star
it.
and yeah, just kept it on the down low like we're so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
So yeah.
What are we talking about, Patrick?
What?
What are we talking about?
We're here for Back to the Future 2, where we go to the future this time, and then back from the future to kind of the present, and then to the past. But then Doc tries to one-up everybody and goes back even further in the past. A lot of time travel in this one.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we're going to split up this episode. We're just going to keep it like first act is just the 2015 future stuff, and then the alternate 1985, and then act 3 will be mostly the 1955 stuff. So
See, I didn't think it was alternate 1985. I thought it was just Detroit. Because that's basically how Detroit's portrayed in every film in the 80s.
yeah.
I was like, is this RoboCop?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
Back to the Future 2.
Do we want to do you have any taglines or
I do have taglines.
all right, hit
We
me.
got a few here, so hold on. We have the one that I know, which is roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. And then the less inspirational one, we're back. It doesn't even go ... in the future or
Right.
something like that. It's just we're back. Then, do you remember the future?
I like
Which
that.
I'm like, do you remember the future? How do I remember the future?
Right.
That really messes with my head.
Yeah, I like that.
And then you got It's About Time. Because, get
Yeah.
it? It's about time. I guess that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
And then we got Synchronize Your Watches. The future's coming back.
Uh,
Doesn't
Yeah,
make
it's
a lot
more
of
James
sense.
Bond, really. Like, I always took synchronized watches with, like, spy stuff.
oh yeah.
Or, like, capers or something. Or everyone's got to have the same time because they don't have iPhones. And then we have Getting Back Was Only the Beginning.
Oh, we still got more taglines?
That was the last one, I
Okay.
swear.
That one's not too bad, I suppose. I think
Yeah.
my favorite's definitely the Do You Remember the Future?
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
So it's 1989, but 1985, but also 2015 and 1955
Right.
and 1895, 85,
85.
85.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I got all the times down.
Yeah. What do you guys remember as far as like first time watching this? What's your history with Back to the Future 2?
I think
Well,
I think it's the one I've seen the least.
Yeah. Same for me, for sure.
What? I love this one.
It's always the one that wasn't available to me as a kid because we had the first one and the third one on
Yeah.
VHS, but not the second one.
Oh, you had the third one and not the second one?
That is
Ooh.
correct.
Yeah, I definitely. The third one is the one I've seen the most. I think I think I mentioned that when we talked about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Like that one to me was the go-to one. I mean, came out the same year as this, and I think that was just for some reason like as far as like the family watching a movie together. Like the go-to movies were Last Crusade, Back to the Future 3, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, like a few movies that like were basically the only things we could all agree on, I guess, or it was all just family friendly enough or whatever. But yeah, when I saw this movie, I think I didn't get a lot of it, or it seemed so much darker that I think parts of it scared me. I mean, the first one, is completely family friendly, I think.
Terrorists at the beginning.
Yeah,
Doc getting
but
shot.
It's that 80s terrorism.
Incest.
Yeah, that family.
That's a little too family friendly.
It's wholesome terrorism.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I just shied away from this one as a kid because it was just got so dark there in the alternate timeline or whatever. So yeah, this one was not a go-to, and it's been a long time for me since I watched it.
Wow.
But so this was this one you said you watched the most, you think?
For
Patrick?
me, yeah, definitely.
Wow.
I love this one.
Okay.
I actually have I remember the first time watching this because I have a scar that is tied to it.
I think I've heard this story, but yeah, please share.
Well, the first time I saw this, it was probably 1990 because it had been, it was on VHS.
Sure, yeah.
And it was a sleepover, like, I don't know, 3rd grade or something. And we were watching this and Spaceballs. Thank you very much, Spaceballs reference.
It's not a reference, it's just a mention.
I know.
Surrounded by assholes. Now that's a reference.
There you go. God.
Anyways.
Jeez. Anywho, we were watching it and it got over with. And, after a good movie, you, of course, want to have a ping pong tournament.
Obviously.
And I happened to be walking behind said ping ponger and got a paddle to the face. And my tooth went through my lip. And that's how I got my scar and how I remember seeing Back to the Future 2 for the first time.
Jeez.
Good stuff.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought I remembered you saying something about like wrecking your bike on a skateboard or something.
Oh, that was from you got Back to the Future 1. That's how I got that one, because I was hanging onto a bicycle, like Marty hangs onto a car bumper. Except doing that on the sidewalk with cracks in it, not the best idea.
Can't wait to hear what your Back to the Future 3 injury is.
Well, horse riding. Stay tuned. Yeah, no. But yeah, I think that's what you were getting at, is that it was a darker kind of Back to the Future, and I think that's why we watched it, because we thought we were getting away with something. Because Spaceballs had swear words in it, so that was awesome. And then Back to the Future 2 was like a grown-up Back to the Future. At least that's how I remembered it.
Wait a minute, Doc. What are you talking about? What happens to us in the future? What, do we become assholes or something?
Oh, no. You and Jennifer both turn out fine. It's your kids, Marty. Something's got to be done about your kids.
Hey, Doc, you better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Hey, Marty! Marty, I wanted to show you these new matchbooks for my auto detailing I had printed up.
Flying DeLorean?
What the hell is going on here?
Like, this one it was I think the first time I watched a movie and I could tell I was watching a sequel, because the way it starts, it preps you with the ending, like the last, 5 minutes of the first movie. It kind of sets you up for the start of this one. And whereas, like, if you watch Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, like, they don't, you can tell, once you meet the characters and everything, that you're in that same universe, but you're not, like, spoon-fed that this is leading directly into this movie. So I think it was the first time I had experienced a movie that, like, set you up for what's to come next. With that,
and I think that's because of the odd timing of Marty's days, because he basically gets a night to sleep off the last adventure, and then this one starts up. So he's been doing a lot of time traveling.
you have the whole Jennifer, character switch or actor
Yeah.
switch, so they kind of have to redo some of that. And
I had no reason for her to even be in the movie, really.
yeah,
Well, I feel like they realized that, and that's why they put her to sleep for the whole movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like I like Elizabeth Shue a lot more, but not based on this movie. Like, I think I like her from Adventures of Babysitting and Karate Kid and The Saint. But like watching her in this is like I'm surprised that this isn't one of her first things. Like, this came after Adventures of Babysitting and those other ones that I mentioned, except for The Saint.
Yeah, that is weird.
It feels like this would be one of her earlier roles, and that she should have been given a bigger part to play. But I'm not overly fond of her Jennifer period in this movie. Like, I don't remember why they went with a different actress. Maybe they thought Elizabeth Shue has more.
I'm pretty sure whatever the actress's name is who played Jennifer in the first movie, she left acting.
Okay.
I think if I read right, I'm pretty sure it's because her mom was sick or something.
Oh, okay.
And so she left acting to take care of her mom.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, yeah, that's
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. I do feel like I've seen that actress does a lot of like convention type appearances. Like, she
I can see
has
that.
tried to make a name for herself of being like the Jennifer, and I don't know.
Kind of like the Becky on Roseanne.
Yeah.
Like, there's like two or three versions.
Yeah.
Obviously, she doesn't have to take care of her mom anymore, so she got time again. Get out there.
Wow. Grim end for Jennifer's mom.
Dark. Yeah, I think with parts of with that reshoot, that beginning sequence where we kind of look back at the ending of the first movie, when they add the stuff with Biff coming out, he's all excited about his matchbooks, for his detailing company. Like, I wonder if they add that sort of thing because it's like, well, we have to reshoot this stuff anyways, so we might as well use it to our advantage to add in this extra little hint that he's going to witness something that is going to be a little foreshadowing, or if that was planned from the beginning.
Like a bookmark or bookend the movie with matchbook scenes.
Yeah.
So I'm embarrassed to say that I've seen this movie probably like 50 times or more.
Yeah.
And I just on this watching understood why Biff got into detailing cars, because of the manure crashes.
Right.
I never connected it until this watching.
That's happening for me right now.
Okay. I was like, oh, duh. That's why he's into car detailing, because he covered himself in shit twice.
Yeah. I love it's so sad how I feel so bad for, I guess, real 1985 Biff, like, because he is genuinely excited when he comes out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the Biff from the end of the previous movie, where he's excited when George gets his novels, have arrived, and like, he's actually a decent guy, and the rest of the stuff that happens to Biff, or the stuff that we see, the real, I guess, what he becomes is so much darker and so much sadder, I guess.
And that's the weird thing, because like old man Biff is back to being like Biff.
Yeah, because he's that Biff. Yeah, but he's
a dick when he's a kid.
Yeah,
gets punched, turns nice. Did he get hit again and turn back into a dick and just got older? Or maybe getting older just turned him back to his natural state.
I think so. Yeah.
I feel like most old men are grumpy.
Yeah.
They've made a couple movies about it, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see. I thought about this. It was kind of strange. Like, Doc's plan is precisely what he's warning them about from the start. Like, you can't mess with the future. You can't mess with the past. You're not supposed to change things, but except for like the point of the first movie is obviously he needs to make sure his parents fall in love so that he exists.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
He screwed it up by getting
by
hit
accidentally
by the car instead of his dad.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this one, Doc comes from the future so that he can change something that happens to Marty's family, and like that's not end of the world type stakes. It's not gonna. I mean, it's unfortunate if Marty gets in trouble by getting in with the wrong crowd with this arrest or robbery thing that he's got coming up with Griff. But it's kind of like, why save Marty McFly Jr.? Like, what, Because it's not, there aren't stakes there if they don't, there are stakes.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's a natural course of events.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just weird that that's what prompts them to go to the future.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, he's a huge hypocrite in this movie.
Yeah.
He
There's
also
another
gets the rejuvenation thing. Where he
got a new spleen.
Oh.
I read some trivia about that, and it said that they did that so he didn't have to wear old man makeup.
Oh, okay.
For the other, the last two movies.
Gotcha. That's clever. I think it makes sense. You would think that.
But he's
everyone in the future is
personal gain, and he personally gained from future treatments.
That's true. Yeah, he says got new blood, a new spleen.
He's basically like a vampire now. He's got superpowers, probably.
Yeah.
Like that's the movie I want to see. Is what the hell Doc was up to in the future?
Yeah,
because he seems to have really gotten into it. Like he's got the clothes. He knows about the weather. He got his whole body rejuvenated somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was up to some interesting stuff.
Can we talk about the clothes? Did you notice the hats the kids are wearing? Yeah.
They don't close around the head. There's just a stripe down the center.
They're made out of kitchen stuff.
I didn't notice that.
So
they look like plastic to me.
Yeah, it's looks like one was made out of a colander.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. They're just bizarre. It's just funny to me to see what in 19 whatever 80 what is it 89 85
yeah their version of the
future
I guess 1989 yeah
oh yeah I mean, the house still cracks me up that it's got the flower wallpaper in it.
Oh yeah,
with all
I didn't notice that
so-called modern gadgets that still look 80s as hell.
I always notice Doc is wearing a plastic tie, just a clear tie, and then future Marty is wearing two neckties.
Yeah, the dude that comes up to him after he almost gets
needles.
He has the two ties, but also I think it connects down into his vest, so it's like a ties and a vest.
Nice. Oh, it's the whole package. What were we saying? Oh, about the whole people in the future, have all this rejuvenation stuff, and I'm sure that is something that still, probably is reserved for maybe the wealthy. But I noticed that there were two instances that felt weird. One is the guy that is talking to Marty about the Cubs winning the series. That guy, that actor, is for some reason in the worst old man makeup ever.
Yeah.
For no reason, because I thought about it and I kept thinking is this an actor from the first movie that is now old? Because he's not recognizable. He's just a guy. And so I wonder, why not just cast someone who's old rather than take someone who's, probably 40s, 50s and make them look 70s or 80s.
I'm pretty sure that guy is in the first movie.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
If he is, he just didn't. It's not like it's you. It's not like a Mayor Goldie Wilson,
right.
Where, I don't know. There are just a few instances like that it was like, why is this guy so prominent with this old makeup that I didn't recognize him from the first one? I guess that's on me. But then you cut to a minute or two later, Marty goes into the antique store to buy the almanac, and the lady that's selling the almanac to him is perfectly like, looks like she could be in any of the 3 movies. Like she doesn't stand out. She's not in outrageous clothes.
Right.
She just looks like she's someone in her 40s.
Maybe she dresses in the vintage clothes
that could be
sell.
Yeah, that would make sense. I just thought it was weird to like have one guy super old and then have someone working in an antique shop that was appropriately like 40s, in 1989. I don't know, just felt weird to me. What else? I love Thomas F. Wilson in this movie. First as sad Biff in 85 and then Griff. And I like what Doc says, something about, be careful about him. He's got a few screws loose. His bionic implants aren't functioning right or something. And then when you meet Griff, he's in the Cafe 80s and he's bitching at his... Yeah. He speaks as if... I think what Thomas Wilson is doing is speaking as if his voice or his thoughts are being processed through a computer, because doesn't speak with a robot voice, but he speaks like someone who is trying to speak with a robot voice, kind of. Just, I wish I wrote down what he specifically says. It's in the bar, or it's in the cafe. Like
when Marty jumps back over the counter in place of his son, and he shoves Griffin, and he goes, "When did you become the physical type?"
That's exactly it. Yes, thank you. Yeah, the way he says that, it sounds like he's doing like a human modified computer type voice. I don't know. And I don't know if that has anything to do with like the fact that he does have cybernetic implants, or that's just what he thought people would sound like in the future. So
I always noticed the thing, whatever he's got on his arm.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they're supposed to be wires or it's supposed to be some sort of exoskeleton.
When he catches Marty's fist. Yeah, that's the first time I noticed that too.
Yeah, I thought it was like an exoskeleton, like enhancement or something, like to make his wrist stronger for some activity that he engages.
He's got kung fu grip now.
Yeah.
I love Griff. I love everything that Thomas F. Wilson is doing as all the characters he plays. I think it struck me this time that this is a Marty and Biff storyline. Because Doc, he's in it throughout the entire movie, but he only pops up like to help Marty get out of a jam or to take Marty from point A to point B. Yeah. But he's really not in the movie that much. Yeah. I think they definitely obviously leaned more on the Biff storyline throughout these 3 time periods, which makes sense. I mean, it's all about Biff is the one carrying that football of the almanac. Like he's the one taking, getting the, I guess the MacGuffin, from time to time. So
yeah, I enjoyed Marty Jr.
I've never liked Marty Jr. He always makes me feel weird.
What's worse than Marty Jr. is the daughter or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Marlene,
she's the worst.
I think.
That is scary.
Marty Jr. actually seems like a teenage screw up.
Yeah. I think as a kid, I didn't understand that was Michael J. Fox playing Marlene.
I don't think I did either.
Yeah. But it was funny watching the trailer because of posting it to the previous episode, the trailer for this movie, and then being reminded that, oh yeah, Michael J. Fox plays his daughter, which you've got Elizabeth Shue. Why not just young her up to play the daughter the same way that he
why
does
do both
with
kids
as
have
Marty
to look
Jr.
like him? That's very unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh, probably so that they can have that trailer moment of and Michael J. Fox as and Michael J. Fox as.
Yeah, I blame whatchamacallit, trading places.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy stuff.
Murphy and Arsenio Hall.
Yeah,
but I always liked Marty Jr. just because when he gets knocked out over the counter, he's like, "Yeah, sure, Biff, whatever you say, buddy." I don't know. I just love that. And then the drastic switch in I guess bravado, or like it seems like a totally different person.
Yeah.
It's pretty risky though for him to talk to his son.
Yeah.
Luckily, he was half conscious.
Yeah, he was kind of out of it. Luckily.
Yeah.
Doc already put the whammy on him from earlier, where he did that to. And I have a feeling that is the most terrifying weapon in the future. Is that
his
neuralizer or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, good lord, that took like a half a second for her to be just knocked out for an entire movie.
His face when he puts her out is so great. Doc's face when he puts her out is just great. I didn't notice, or I finally noticed what Doc says about, because he used it on her, gave her a full dose, it didn't,
It didn't knock the kid out.
Yeah, I guess I never paid attention to that before. One thing I thought was, I kind of understand why, but at the same time, I wonder why they don't address it when the police find Jennifer in the future alley.
Yeah.
And they're running her fingerprints, and they find out that she's Jennifer McFly, and Doc and Marty are freaking out, not sure what to do. They say they'll follow them back to the house. Like, couldn't Marty have played young Marty and ran up to the cops and said, like, hey, it's fine, it's my mom, I'm taking her home? And then I think I know why they couldn't have done that is if they had scanned his fingerprints, he would have been Marty McFly, not Marty McFly Jr., I guess, but these cops wouldn't have known. He could have said, I'm Marty McFly, flat out, and just said, this is my wife, let me take her home,
Well, that and the future has no lawyers, so things get prosecuted quickly.
Cops start asking questions,
Yeah.
You find yourself in future jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then nobody would believe you.
Yeah. I never realized until this time watching that the street that they live on, or the neighborhood, the Hilldale, was, Marty reacts to that news as, that's a nice part of town. Because I'm sure in '85 it was, but now it's just, it's trash. And I never realized that. Even watching it as a kid, I never paid attention to the fact that there's like trash on the streets, or that they say that it's a rough area.
Yeah, the cops dump on it pretty hard, dropping it off.
I think because when you get inside the house, they still have all of this future tech. The food dehydrator or rehydrator, and the TV screens, all their future.
No doorknobs.
Yeah.
But even the TV screen, like, it's on the fritz, and things aren't,
Yeah.
Like
I think it just the fact that there was future tech as a kid made me think, oh, these guys are doing pretty well. I just didn't get the joke that they were living kind of in, I guess, similar conditions that Marty's family was living in '85 when the first movie started, I guess.
Well, I mean, they are doing pretty well. They had a fax machine in the closet. So, that's some disposable income.
Yeah. I did notice that when Marty Jr. has he turns on the TV and announces all of his TV channels. Channel 63 has an ad for the super inflatable tit. I never noticed.
I did not notice that.
Oh yeah, and it has like this graphic of this pair of breasts that come out, and I mean just a cartoon pair of tits, and then this real woman, and she's wearing like a red leotard kind of thing, and you can just see her bust size like enhance or whatever. So I thought that was pretty funny and just something that I just never noticed before.
Did you ever notice the tagline on the marquee for the Jaws, whatever it is, whatever number?
Jaws 19 or whatever.
I knew it was 19, but I don't know the...
It says this time it's really, really personal.
Oh, nice. I did notice that on the marquee, kind of around the side of the theater, it said directed by Max Spielberg.
Max Spielberg, yeah.
Oh, nice.
And then there's a bunch of stuff in that antique shop window. There's like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit paraphernalia, like a doll and a VHS box art for
which is why
Robert
the second
Zemeckis.
movie was so delayed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he was doing Roger Rabbit.
He was doing both. Huh. What else was there? Was a Jaws and a Jaws 2 like poster or box art. Several other things that were kind of tangentially like in this group of
there was
filmmakers.
an Apple computer too.
Yeah.
I noticed also where they put Jennifer, like on the what appears to be garbage. It's like a bunch of like CDs and like what looks like laser disc.
Oh, really?
Like all lining the side of that, like whatever she's laying against.
I always thought like all that trash looked like bales of shredded paper.
Yeah, there was some shredded paper, but I just noticed last night that there's like CDs and laser discs.
Huh. That's funny. I mean, yeah, that would be trash today. Even well, so 2015 would have been about right. Yeah, we throw that kind of stuff away. What was the other thing I wanted to mention? They never really explain why when we see Biff come back from 1955, because he's now stolen the DeLorean while they're inside trying to get Jennifer. Biff has left and now comes back with the DeLorean, and he gets out, he breaks the cane, and it always freaked me out as a kid because it looks like when he comes back he's in physical pain.
Oh yeah.
But they don't.
He's old.
I kept waiting. Yeah, I guess that's it. But it seems like he just got the shit kicked out of him right before he went back and came, through time. And the last thing we see of him, jumping forward into when we see him in 1955, he parts ways with Biff outside his garage, and that's the last time we see him back then. So
he's got to walk all the way back to the DeLorean, and he's not a young man.
Yeah, it always weirded me out.
I never understood how he broke his cane, because doesn't he reach back in to grab his cane, and it's like he catches it on something and it breaks, and all of a sudden it's like, ugh! I never understood that either.
Hey, if Doc can leave the keys in the ignition, he can break off a cane.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's always just weirded me out.
Also, wouldn't he have had to put some refuse in the Mr. Fusion to have enough power to get back?
Oh, that would have been awesome. He got stuck in the past.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Maybe that Mr. Fusion's really good on the time travel.
Very economical.
A can of beer, a banana peel, and some fried chicken could get you through a couple jumps.
Good mileage.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not as taxing to go back to a place the machine's already gone to.
Yeah. Anything else on the future?
Yeah, I'm ready to go back to the past.
You can see the stunt double for the girl gang member, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
You can see her hit the pillar when they fly into the...
oh, really?
They're supposed to go through the glass, and she hits the pillar first, which I read wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah. Huh.
Let's put her in the swing. Then I'll take you home, and you can come back in your truck and wake her. When she wakens here at her own house and it's dark, you should be able to convince her that it was all a dream.
Wait a minute, we're just gonna leave her here on the porch?
The disorientation will help convince her that it was all a dream.
How long do you think she's gonna be out?
I'm not quite sure. She received quite a shock. Could be for a few minutes. Most probably a couple of hours. You better bring some smelling salts back with you.
Hey, you're the doc, Doc.
All right, come on, let's go, Heine. Don't worry, she'll be fine.
I remember bars being on these windows.
Yeah, then let's jump into 1985.
Speaking of inflatable boobs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mom.
Things.
Mom, you're so big.
Oh, God, that's so creepy how much he lingers on it.
Yeah, I was thinking that last night. It's like, hey, look away, bro. It's your mom.
Yeah. Oh, but before that, him coming home and
oh, yeah,
into the girl's bedroom that, is now the family that's living in his house. That whole sequence just so creepy,
And all that dude accomplishes is just destroying his daughter's room with the bat.
I do like that. That is good.
And does Marty go back and get Jennifer? Nope. Leaves her on the porch.
That's what everyone... Yeah, every time Marty worries about that, Doc says, "No, she'll be fine.
If we
when
succeed.
we fix everything will just reset as if
it'll reset around her."
Yeah,
they pull up. They don't notice the car that's all crunched in on the front, and then there's bars on the window.
Yeah,
trash.
Mm-hmm. It's such an odd sequence that the whole 1985 reality is so like. It's just a big tonal shift. And I think that's part of why I didn't like this movie as a kid. Because it just doesn't feel like the other two movies, and especially...
They're telling you what it's like to screw with the past or with the future.
We're in Biff's world now.
Yeah.
He is horrible at running things.
So...
It's funny you mentioned that because his alternate self was based on Mr. Donald Trump.
I know.
I was just gonna say.
I know, that's one of my notes too. Yeah, and this one, it feels like he's a blend of Trump and Elvis, just for like I think that Vegas personality that Biff kind of has. The casino guy. I mean, I know Trump is a casino guy too, but
and puts his name on buildings. Oh yeah, just like
yeah,
and has weird hair.
It's so weird watching this now, just with the Trump of it all, and Biff. Yeah, I mean he's based on him, and it's like the rest of the city and maybe part of the country has just gone to shit because he's gaining so much power and all that. And
I mean, he's got to have like billions of dollars.
Yeah,
because unimaginable amount of wealth.
Yeah, if he could bet on every big sporting event up until 2000, I mean, and I don't know if maybe
somebody had to have called him like okay, this is getting ridiculous. Did he throw a couple here and there? Like,
you would think that it would maybe
some eyebrows
or like affect future bets, because the odds of him winning are so good, maybe that affects bets that he would then place on.
Because if you found out Biff was betting on him, you'd bet too, and it would strip the line. And
so he must have done a lot of his betting through anonymously. Like, he wouldn't announce like who he's betting for, but he might have someone else place the bets, or
I think
if that was a factor,
Because I feel like one of the video montages mentions a streak he went on with betting. I just can't remember if it was like 50 or something.
There's also a sign that says smoking required.
I missed that.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome. I do, in that TV montage thing, they do mention that he quickly, set up like a nuclear power plant, so Biffco, yeah. So a lot of that money then would have just come from legitimate, in quotes, businesses, that
probably illegally dumping toxic refuse in
that's
national park.
Basically, I think what it was, like, he was. There's something about dumping radiation or something like that. I forget. Let's see.
My favorite character showed up, Strickland.
Oh yeah,
love that guy. I think he was like in his element in that world.
Oh,
he seemed to enjoy chasing down those slackers with his shotgun.
It's the same character he played in Masters of the Universe. Just chasing after people with a shotgun.
Hell yeah. Hey. Everyone's got a type.
He knows what he's good at. It's funny because this is kind of going back to what I was talking about, how Doc abuses this power, and I think, Patrick, you said that he's kind of a hypocrite, and all that, and my other point kind of to that effect is that this is the same. Like, think about at the end of the first movie, they completely rewrote George McFly's future. Mm-hmm. He becomes a successful writer. They live more comfortably, and that's what happens with Biff to a greater extreme, but they do the same thing, in a way. Like, old Biff goes to the past and sets up young Biff for success, and obviously that goes, like I said, to the extreme, but it's the same thing that they did for George McFly. Unintentionally, but
Biff's the antagonist.
Yeah.
So he's evil.
Biff
Yeah.
just
with
got,
his
I
with
kind
his
of
good
felt
fortunes.
bad for Biff, though, like in this movie.
I feel bad for future 85 Biff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for alternate 1985 Biff.
No.
You
But
know.
like his life has been like through the ringer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
He has gotten some ups and downs, and that old man Biff didn't even drop a line, "Hey, watch out for that right hook from McFly." He just lets him get punched. I mean,
yeah.
I'm surprised old Biff didn't warn him about that, because that's basically how she falls in love with George.
Yeah.
Poor Biff.
There's a good episode of, I think it's I Was There Too, with Matt Gorley.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking to Crispin Glover. I think it's that podcast, and he goes into kind of detail about why he wasn't in this movie and how they recast and had to come up with all the tricks that they used to avoid showing his face like straight on, using a lot of trick angles and that stuff. So
hanging him upside down with horrible makeup didn't do it enough.
Yeah.
Wasn't that part of the reason why the whole you can't use somebody else's likeness thing
came
into play?
Might be. Yeah.
Because didn't Crispin Glover kind of have a whole
yeah,
thing
because
with
there were a few angles of the movie that just flat out show footage from the first movie, and I think they didn't want to pay him for that, or he didn't want to sign off on his rights or his likeness or something.
I thought he just didn't want to be in the movie.
I mean, it was that, but I feel like there was something to that. Like he was mad about the fact that he didn't want to be in the movie, but they still were going to use his image, and something about that didn't set right with him. Anyways, there's a good episode, like I said, of that. I Was There Too with Crispin Glover.
But I love the old man and young Biff scene. It's just probably one of my favorite scenes. Just him
when he first sees old Biff in the car, he's like, "What the hell are you doing in my car?
What are you doing in my car, old man?"
Yeah. And
then when he screws up the line about make like a tree and beat it, smacks him. He's like, "You sound like a moron when you say it wrong." Let's make like a tree.
I do like.
Let's make like a tree and leave.
Yeah. I do like that old Biff is more savvy. Like he's figured out shit like that. He's not the complete dummy that he was as a kid.
I like when Biff he's walking to get his car, and he takes the ball from the kids and throws it up on the balcony.
Football.
Go get it. It's like, what a dick.
Well, in case you didn't know it, from the last sequence in the future, this just lets you know that he's just 100% grade A asshole.
Yeah.
And lived with his grandma in an old lady home.
In the future, though, he says a flying DeLorean. I haven't seen one of those in 30 years.
Yeah. I do like
that was good.
Kind of that connection to him as I guess 85 Biff.
So we get some a glimpse into whatchamacallit, the death of George McFly. Which is where it really gets dark.
I did notice though in the paper it lists him as being an author. Like, so he did at least. I guess that would have been still the case, because this still would have been the George that fell in love with Lorraine. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense that it did list him as being an author. I just noticed that in the newspaper.
I didn't notice that. But it gets real messed up with drunk Lorraine and trying to leave Biff, and he's like been through this before. They probably hashed this out multiple times. And using the kids. It was just brutal.
Yeah.
And then his famous line of 2 McFlys with the same gun. He's like, I couldn't match the bullet that killed your old man. I was like, damn.
I love the scene kind of before that leads up to that, chasing down Marty.
Just in the office.
Just, him, in the office, and Marty asking him just point blank, like, how'd you do all this? And I like that Biff plays along with it long enough to, lead up to the, he told me if a crazy-eyed old man and a kid came snooping around. I really like that scene.
I like when Marty steps off the building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Biff's reaction. He's kind of like he's like kind of laughs about it. Like
he's like, what an idiot!
It did my job for me.
Like, it's so easy.
It's like, well, what the hell? Like,
yeah.
Yep.
And of course, the foreshadowing, having him watch the Clint Eastwood movie.
Oh yeah.
Of
the
I'm not
Back
sure
to
which
the
one it
Future
is.
there.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've already kind of talked about old Biff meeting young Biff in 55. So, does anyone have anything else on alternate 1985?
Well, in 55, Biff yells to Lorraine that he's going to marry her someday.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a little foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Man of his word.
Oh, yeah. And even that, I thought about that because this is still, she does have a marriage with George and they have the 3 kids. And I thought maybe he used the same tactics to marry her because we see in the old footage that she's not happy about being married to him from the jump. But I wonder if it is some sort of like he used the tactics of bailing her kids out of trouble and basically if you marry me your kids
keeps her brother Joey in jail.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe there's only so much he can do when he's starting up.
Well, he likes it in jail.
Yeah,
remember he likes those bars. He cries if you take him out of there. So that's doing him a solid.
Yeah,
probably got the best jail cell in the whole joint.
If he's been in that long, I'm sure he wouldn't acclimate well coming out.
Well, in the alternate 1985, he'd be all right. Probably.
Yeah, that could be. Let's see.
Oh yeah, I always forget Billy Zane's in this.
Yeah,
I was just gonna mention that he doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah, I always pay attention to him just to see, because it is Billy Zane, and is he one of them in the first movie? Is he one of Biff's gang in?
Yeah.
Okay, and the first I wasn't sure
he's
if he
the
was
only
in the first.
original gang member.
Okay,
match.
So I thought maybe the kid with the
the 3D specs,
3D specs, or they're so like one note that I'd never really pay attention to his gang. Although I did pay attention to Griff's gang because one of them is Jason Scott Lee from he played Mowgli in the 1994 Jungle Book, and then he played Bruce Lee in Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. So he was like kind of hot for a minute there in the mid 90s, but then just disappeared. And then I don't know if any of the other Griff gang members were anybody, but
well, I can tell you their names were Data, Spike, and Whitey.
Oh, Whitey was Jason Scott Lee.
The girl with the scrote comment is Spike.
She's
okay.
Spike on her finger, I guess.
Scrote. Yeah.
I think Needles is what throws me off every time because it's Flea.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, hey, it's Flea.
It's interesting because I remember him mostly because of the ending of the third movie, which feels like it should be part of the first movie. So I forget that he doesn't show up until the second movie. So it's kind of a weird. And again, this was the first time I'd ever heard of a movie, and may not have happened that often, but movies filming back to back, and they clearly set this movie up, along with part 3.
Didn't they film them together?
They filmed them together. So
didn't they do that with some Bond movies?
I don't recall them literally doing it back to back, or it was kind of like one production, because they were layering in a lot of that foreshadowing stuff, from the get-go.
Lord of the Rings, whatever.
Yeah. The Matrix 2 and 3 they did together. A few other productions have done that too, but I think this was the first.
I forgot this 3 came out the next year, so that was just insane.
Let's see.
I just don't think I realized how long it was between 1 and 2.
Right.
Oh, this is heavy, Doc. I mean, it's like I was just here yesterday.
You were here yesterday, Marty. You were. Amazing, isn't it? All right. Sunrise should be in about 22 minutes. You go into town, track down young Biff, and tail him. Sometime today, old Biff will show up to give young Biff the almanac. Above all, you must not interfere with that event. We must let old Biff believe he succeeded so that he'll leave 1955 and bring the DeLorean back to the future.
Right.
Once old Biff is gone, grab the almanac any way that you can. Remember, both of our futures depend on this.
You'll have to remind me of that, Doc.
I watched a side-by-side scene comparison today just on YouTube, and it's pretty interesting the way because they showed the original Jennifer footage compared to the Elizabeth Shue footage from the start of this movie. So they showed both of those scenes like layered one on top of the other, or not layered on top of each other, but just one above the other one. And you could see how they all had to play the entire scene, as close to the original as they could. And there were subtle differences in timing and things like that. And I think the Christopher Lloyd was by far like the worst at like matching up what he did and the way he said things. Shocking. And but it was interesting. Like, and then they compared. They synced up the audio, especially like at the dance here in 1955, where this third act really focuses around is revisiting that dance. So they took like the music that's playing and synced up both versions of this section of the movie, and you could see where everyone was in relation to while in the first movie it's all basically taking place in that main auditorium or whatever, but this one takes so much of it takes place outside of the gym, where Marty is trying to chase down Biff and all that stuff. So it was interesting like seeing how well they did at blending the two, and it's just impressive how they were able to use that same exact setting and film a different movie around it, kind of. So I really like how well that turned out.
This whole scene's my favorite, like one of my favorite scenes in any time travel movie. It's just cool seeing the different versions kind of interact in a different way, and then how that interplays with, because I mean there's like 50 different ways this could have gone south. I mean, I
really love the stuff with Marty and Biff and Strickland. Like again, that whole sequence with them is a lot of fun. Like especially I forgot about the scene with Marty in Strickland's office.
I like when Strickland hides his mug of booze in his jacket.
That's why Strickland's my favorite.
I like seeing like how you could see the thing between George and Biff when he
outside
gives
the
him
window.
the hook, you can see it from the different vantage point. And then the guy when Biff's still laying there, and then Marty goes and gets the thing out of it, and the guy's like, that guy took his wallet. I think he took his wallet.
And then they come back to that like a minute or two later when Biff wakes up, I think, and I think he took his wallet. They do it like 4 times.
It's like it feels like this should be on Family Guy to me.
Oh yeah.
This looks like something, I don't know why.
Yeah, this is we were I think talking before we started recording that like I don't have a lot of notes on this movie because at this point I just got caught up in watching the movie. But just like the big takeaway was just how impressive I think they handled the movie in playing inside the sandbox that they had created previously. So like maybe you could see it as being like maybe do something else, but I like that it goes back here. It ties back into the first movie, and you think that I think I always associated Back to the Future 2 as being the future movie, but really that only takes part for half an hour really. And then I mean I guess it's split into thirds based on like how we've already discussed it and stuff, but I like that they go back to 55 and especially just
I mean because
go ahead.
if you don't have the whole like chasing down the almanac while still being intertwined with the last adventure, it adds that like element of danger and suspense kind of.
He has to stop the Billy Zane and company from kicking his other self's ass.
Yeah.
So which will screw everything up.
Yeah.
He'll vanish.
So.
I do like the kind of seeing it from another vantage point, like Brett was saying, with when he has looked at the photo of himself and like his sister and Dave when they show up, and then he does that like wave, like because he's seeing his fingers come back for the first time, and
it's like his hand just woke up. It was
asleep. But like in the first movie, he does that, and then he does a wave to George, who's waving it at him from the crowd. And this time you see that wave, and they just play it like really. Like I get that Marty is wiggling his fingers because he's excited to see his hand hasn't disappeared, but it plays off as this weird little wave that he does to George. So just kind of a cool little detail.
The George who's dancing with Lorraine is definitely not.
Yeah, it's Jeffrey Wiseman, I think I noticed in the credits and on IMDb. He does like a decent enough George McFly voice, and then they use him for all the acting for the new footage and stuff. I completely had forgotten how the movie ended. I think I forgot that Marty is stuck in 1955. I forget that this movie doesn't end with him being, back in 85, and then the next movie will somehow take him to the past. But I just forgot that, like, once the whole lightning bit started to become a factor, and Doc is trying to get the DeLorean to behave, and once that all started to happen, then it all like came back to me that Marty, the Marty we've been following the whole time, is going to get stranded here, and that then he has to work with 1955 Doc. And I just completely forgot that that's how the next movie starts, is that it starts in the 50s. Because
1985 Doc gets zapped back to the 1885, right?
Yeah. So it was just fun kind of like noticing, I guess, for the first time that, the next movie isn't going to start in 85. And I don't know why. I think I just never thought about it, or, I don't know. I hadn't really watched these since I was a kid, so.
We skipped over the great hoverboard Carson. I always thought that was the coolest like action sequence.
Yeah.
Like where the way they played with the hoverboard, the like shooting through the car underneath and all that stuff.
And just the sneaking around the car and
I just thought it was a cool way of using the hoverboard.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I don't know. It reminded me of like almost like a train, like trying to jump onto a train kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe a nod to the westerns. I don't know, but it gave me that kind of vibe because he's kind of sneaking around and hanging on to the side. But I don't know. I just always like that sort of sequence of action there.
Oh, that's cool. I definitely think that the hoverboard sequence here at the end works a lot better than the one we get at the mall in 2015, because like rewatching that sequence, it doesn't really hold up that well. Like
the special effects.
Yeah, I mean, I think it still works as an overall action scene. Just some of the effects and the wire work, it's just very obvious that it's all wire work and stuff.
Yeah.
But here, when they're doing it around Biff's car in this tunnel, it just works so much better. Like, I don't know. I guess it's a more controlled environment and not a big courtyard, big wide open space where they definitely.
Yeah, I think that's it. He's attached to the car essentially for the most part.
It's funny when because Doc they're flying, right? And he brings them down behind Biff's car, and then you see the DeLorean that's like driving on the ground, but it has like it's hovering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool look.
Reminded me of the speeder in Star Wars.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm blanking on the dude's name, but the guy at that delivered the letter.
Yeah, I don't know. He was from
He's in stuff. I'm just
isn't that the dude that's in like Happy Gilmore?
Yes.
He's the dude that taunts him.
Is it?
You
Okay.
jackass.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep,
Jackass.
that's him.
Yeah. He's got a really distinct voice. I do like that guy. That scene works so well because he looks like he's there to kill him. He looks like he's an Undertaker. Like he just looks pale, and compared to him against the rain, like it's really effective.
So what do you think he told the boys back at HQ?
This dumb kid takes this letter that's been 70 years old and just opens it in the rain.
And he just says, Doc's alive, he's alive, and I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Because the guy builds it up like this is like a great mystery, and then he does not get much of a closure to that.
Nope.
He went back there like, so what'd he say? It's like, I don't know.
Screamed about some doc.
Somebody's alive, but the letter's like 70 years old, so it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah, I don't really have any other notes. Like,
Manure Crash Part 2.
Yeah. I like the repeating stuff in these movies, the manure bit and the hoverboard, skateboard stuff. I like that it kind of all happens again.
I like how the whole sequence when he goes into like the square, around the courthouse, it's how he almost gets hit by the car kind of thing.
Yeah, I do like old Biff when he sees Marty. He's like, something familiar about this or something like that.
Yeah.
But I really don't have any other notes on the movie in general. So feel free if you guys do hit whatever other thoughts you have.
Yeah, I'm good. I think I got my big realization about the car dealing or detailing thing. I was just like, holy shit, now I understand.
Yeah.
I did like how I noticed it this last time I watched it when he tells Marty to go around the corner and order the Pepsi, and he says, here's a 50.
Yeah.
And everything's like really expensive.
But he must have also used that money to buy the almanac, so it must not have been a solid 50 for a Pepsi. But then I did notice the cab ride cost old Biff like $174.
Yeah, like $174.
Yeah.
The hover, Goldie Wilson III's doing the hover conversions for like $40,000.
Yeah, I did. $39, $99, $99, $95.
Yeah, it was the 80s. Time for inflation.
Yeah.
I also like how the cars, like, there's like some Ford Probes in there.
I did notice that it's one of the future cars. Yeah, is a Ford Probe that they've kitted out, made look even more futuristic.
The hoverboards were a little not holding up.
Yeah.
As far as special effects go, too.
Keep it. I've got a pit bull.
Was it? There is something that I noticed in the 80s cafe.
Okay.
I think that's where we're headed, where it's just autonomous.
Oh.
And nobody actually working there.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see anybody actually working behind the counter.
No.
It was all like the weird arguing.
Yeah, there was Michael Jackson, Ronald Reagan,
the Ayatollah, which completely escaped me as a kid. Never.
I mean, I don't want to brag, but I've been to a Pizza King that delivered a pizza via train, so I'm basically in the future.
Yeah.
The Pizza King in Avon.
I don't know where that was.
There's a Pizza
King. There's a few of them.
In Avon.
Yeah. I'm not sure which one. One of them delivered via train, and
I thought they only delivered like the Cokes.
Yeah, I feel like
small stuff. Like
yeah. I
don't think you're getting
right.
Calm down there, Wally.
Well, no,
you're not living in the
future.
Like
it was dehydrated, and then we put it onto the hydrator.
Yeah.
Last time I went to that Pizza King, they had Sega at the table. You could play Sega games.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, relax, Doc. It's me. It's Martin.
No, it can't be. It just sent you back to the future.
Yeah. Oh, I know you did send me back to the future, but I'm back. I'm back from the future.
Great Scott.
Doc! Doc! Doc, look at this. Oh. Yes.
The future is now, people.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about heroic and villainous moments?
I believe there's a hero in all of us
I just finally know what I have to do.
that keeps us honest,
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
gives us strength,
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards.
makes us noble.
And I know in my heart that it's right.
As far as heroic moment goes, I guess I'd have to say where Marty jumps off the roof.
Okay.
And then kind of floats back up there, and he's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
And then gets clocked by Doc's door.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was like a cool, heroic scene. 'Cause he's just sort of like posing there, like just floating. And it saved his life.
Yeah.
Knocked out Biff.
Yeah. Mine is I mean, it's another, kind of Doc saving Marty, just at the end of that tunnel. Like, it's a super heroic sequence with Marty, doing all the hoverboard action, but without Doc being there. With he drops that flag line, to really help him get out of that tight spot. But so kind of a combo, but it's also Doc saving Marty again. Was that kind of what you had?
Yeah, I think so.
Most villainous.
This planet, these people, they are nothing to me.
You were made to be ruled.
The universe's power! You unstoppable power! Come to me, son of Jor-El! Kneel before Zod! And I am that force! I am that power!
In the end, you will always kneel.
Kneel before your master!
Biff's got a few.
Yeah.
Throwing that ball, though, up on that balcony just to ruin the kid's day. I mean, that's pretty villainous.
Yeah, that's pretty... Yeah.
Yeah, it's right up there with stealing candy from a baby as far as classic bad guy moves.
Right.
Always kind of a bad guy move when he, because he knows, at a certain point, he knows Marty is on the side of his car, which he doesn't question how too much, I don't feel like. But then because then he gets him. He
gets the elbow to his face. Yeah. I wondered about that watching it last night. Just, does Biff think he's just, holding on to the car? Or I wondered what he thought, how Marty was doing all that. I guess my 1985 Biff, alternate 1985 Biff, is so evil. As a kid, that whole sequence scared me. And I think just the on the roof, admitting to killing George McFly and about to shoot Marty, just kind of that area, that sequence, I guess, because he's just a bastard. He's tormented Lorraine for years and played tricks with her to keep her married to him, and just all the mind game stuff. So just,
and he's got his ladies in the hot tub. I think just that culmination of 85 Biff about to
just say 85.
Well, just about to kill Marty with the same gun that he killed his old man.
Man, it's like a tie. It's the sequence where him and Lorraine are fighting, and that's always just rough to watch.
Yeah,
how sad and desperate she is, and then when she just breaks down and goes, "You deserve to respect him."
Oh man, yeah.
And then, of course, the classic villain monologuing in the office,
right?
Just so he could get things out in sequence and make sure he pulls the gun at the perfect moment.
Yeah.
I always wondered what would have happened had he not docked out of the ashtray or whatever, as Marty wings at him and sticks into the chair. Like, I mean, they get him right in the eye.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean, it would do some damage.
Yeah.
There'd be an eye patch in his future, that's for sure.
Yeah. Anything else to say on Back to the Future 2?
Can't wait for the third one.
Yeah. Well, let's do final thoughts and your rating. And I'd be happy to go first and just say how, I think I mentioned I didn't like this one growing up. I may have talked about it when we talked about the first movie, that this is just not a movie I ever liked. And mostly because I think as a kid watching it, it was the dark movie that it just didn't. Maybe it scared me compared to the fun, adventurous Western that the third one is. And the first one is a good film. The third one is just a fun adventure movie. And this one was just that, like I said, that weird tonal shift that I never liked as a kid. And watching it this time, I was completely into it. I really like this movie. It feels weird to think that, because I've spent so long, anytime Back to the Future came up, like I would just had nothing good to say about this movie, because I just had bad memories of it, I guess. But I'm completely turned around on this one, and for me it's a solid. I'm in a 4.5 maybe. I think a 4. I think is fair for Back to the Future 2. So.
Okay.
For me, it's like I can compare it to Super Mario Brothers 2. It's the one that nobody had.
Yeah.
But whenever I got the chance to play it, I wanted to play it.
Yeah.
I always liked it just because it was the one that's like Home Alone 2. I own the first one, but not the second one. I always want to watch the second one.
Yeah.
I think it's good. Like you said, it's dark.
Yeah.
But I didn't really. I feel like I kind of had some of those same fears as a kid. Like certain parts were kind of scary, but I never got to see it all. And sometimes maybe it was on TV. So, I think it's my second favorite of the whole series.
Okay.
With the first movie being the first. It's like the Temple of Doom.
Yeah, the parallels between this one and the Indiana Jones movie for me are about the same. Like, I love the first one, but I watched the third one more as a kid, and over time watched the third one more, have more nostalgia for the third one, because it's
You know why that is? It's because your mom wanted Harrison Ford in the late 80s.
Yeah.
Just like my mom, and that's why I've seen the last.
So how does that apply to Back to the Future 3? You think our moms had the hots for Christopher Lloyd?
Doc Brown, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
He did. He had gone to the rejuvenation clinic.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's true. So Patrick, Brett, what was your rating?
I'd go 4.5.
Right on.
Well, I'm not going to bury the lead. 5 out of 5. This is, I think 1 and 2 are both just equally awesome. I've always liked the second one just because I felt like I was getting to watch 3 movies.
Yeah, kind of.
The future romp to save his kid, then the middle is to an alternate reality where they have to find out how it got this way, and then the third one's getting that damn book.
Yeah.
And all the third act just seals the deal just because of the complexity they added by tying in the last movie.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was amazing at the time. Like, that was just, how did you even do that? Like, how did they film the movie within a movie? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And because I don't get the sense that they planned to do the second movie when they did the first movie. It's completely fabricated. It feels like they made it up, and made it work within.
I feel like the end of the first movie they just kind of did as a joke.
Yeah.
And without ever planning a sequel. I'm pretty sure I read Zemeckis actually said that.
But, 5er for me.
Right on. That makes it a 4.5 overall. So, yeah, I think that's valid. I would not have thought. I went into this one thinking like before I watched the movie again, like I thought I'd be somewhere around a 2, you know, real low, like just because I just never had good memories of this movie. So happy to, you know, give it a 4.5. But that is Back to the Future Part 2, and I'm thrilled. I can't wait to get to Part 3, which we won't have to wait too long since, like we said, they filmed them together and then released them, I don't know, 6 months or within a year of each other, 89 to 90, so.
Yeah, and I think that's my least favorite pretty easily.
Okay.
I also agree with that.
Really?
I still like it, but it's my least favorite of the three.
Yeah, it's alright, but I don't know if it's just the Western theme or what it is.
Yeah. So that totally works for me, the Western aspect of it.
I like the guy in the saloon that laughs.
It's been so long since I've watched it, so
He's got that, I don't know, it's like you've heard the laugh before in a different movie kind of laugh.
I just like the whatchamacallit, the outfit he wears to go back to the past in.
Right, his cowboy outfit.
Like, that's what Doc thinks is like, seriously? I don't think Doc would have ever thought that was, like, period correct in any way. I feel like he knew he seemed excited about the Old West and wanting to go there, so I think he would have known not to dress him up like a freaking circus clown. Just a thought, but
yeah,
what do I know?
So let me see what we have next.
That's what I was cheating and doing.
Just do a little homework real quick. If I'm not mistaken, it should be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then Back to the Future Part 3. So, Brett,
so
I hope you're available in a few weeks. So next time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990. What else? We do have, Patrick, some feedback from our Punisher episode from a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
This is coming from YouTube, because our episodes automatically upload to YouTube. I always forget that, but apparently people listen to it there. And one Shane says, "You guys didn't pay attention." Johnny Franco says, "There's a limit to revenge," and Frank says back, "I guess I haven't reached mine yet." And this is in reference to, like, we were talking about who really killed Frank's family. Mm-hmm. And Shane continues with, "I kind of got the hint that Franco was responsible for the death of his family. In the movie comic of this, they do depict Johnny Franco as the one who ordered Frank's death, but the mob got his family by accident." So, I thought we kind of touched on that. I don't know. I guess we didn't. Maybe.
I think I had thought it was the first guy.
Yeah, I may have thought that too.
Responsible for that.
Yeah,
because they don't really do a good job in the movie of explaining who did it.
Yeah.
You just know this guy comes back after being exiled for a while, so it's possible that's why he was exiled.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It doesn't really go into great detail to explain it, because if it was the guy that did it in his family, I don't think he would have cooperated as easily.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't seem like it took a lot to get him to help him out.
Right.
I know he was helping the kid, really, but still, you'd think he'd take the first chance to kill him.
Yeah.
But,
we also have another comment from Bill Sanderson Jr. says, "I love this movie, and I love Dead Heat as well." I think I remember mentioning Dead Heat. Maybe that was another movie that the director had done. I don't, or maybe our guest Andy, maybe he mentioned Dead Heat. I don't remember the Dead Heat connection, but yeah. So thanks to Bill and Shane for weighing in on the Punisher. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'll fully admit I miss most everything in every movie. So it took me this long to figure out the matchbooks. The card dealing or detailing.
So I guess if anyone else has comments or thoughts or questions on this movie, you can go over to our Facebook group, the Real Comic Heroes League of Citizens, and you can weigh in on your thoughts there. You can, add thoughts and feelings about our upcoming movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Who was your favorite Ninja Turtle? And
yeah.
why?
I was gonna ask when we do that episode, like, what was your favorite Ninja Turtles toy? So that would be a good question, like, for the Facebook group. Just weigh in on, favorite Ninja Turtle toy.
I think Michelangelo might win that if we did a poll.
Oh, really?
Just as a kid, he's the most kid-like.
Yeah, I was thinking more of
fun one, or Leonardo. Those two.
I used to beg.
Until it gets forgotten.
I used to beg my mom to let me change my middle name to Michelangelo.
Nice.
Because it's already Michael.
It's not too late.
I mean,
you have that power now.
You just have to add the Angelo.
Yeah.
You could do that. Just say that you're really into art and not explain that it's actually a Ninja Turtle that you're doing it for.
I really don't think my mom's gonna let me.
I'm waiting for him to go, Mom, like in the background.
Mom, meatloaf. Oh, right. I think that's gonna do it. Brett, thank you for joining us on Back to the Future. You're our resident Back to the Future guest. So
thanks for having me.
Yeah. Anything you want to plug or mention or sign off with?
I got to work tomorrow.
Okay.
So if you're there, I'll be there.
All right.
Right on. I guess that'll do it. And come back next time for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But until then, stay safe out there, citizens.
Our family grows. The city itself will be our playground to use as we please, rewarding ourselves and punishing our enemies.
We've been looking for you, Miss O'Neill.
There is a new enemy, freaks of nature. Together, we will punish these creatures.
What the heck was that?
Looked like sort of a big turtle in a trench coat.
Awesome!
Excellent! Yeah! I love being a turtle!
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Find the show on Facebook and Twitter at Real Comic Heroes. All music and audio are the property of their respective creators.
Is it bad I don't know what year it is right now?
What?
Is it bad I don't know what year it is right now?
2019?
I've been so screwed up by this movie, and then I'm also looking at the list at the same time. I'm like, wait, what year am I in? God damn it! I was convinced it was 2018.
Yeah, I thought that's what you said earlier.
Oh. We should have signed off with "Make Like a Tree" and get out of here.
It's not too late. We're still recording.
Okay. That's my favorite sequence of dialogue right there.
What?
I never understood that as a kid either. I didn't understand the joke.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an old, I think my dad would have, probably used it back in the days or something.
It's like a screen door on a battleship. Screen door on a submarine, you dork. It's make like a tree and leave.
Ooh, that was pretty good.
You sound like a moron when you say it through.
You sound like a moron. That shit's funny.
Yeah.
I still love that he doesn't recognize his own.
I know. Let's just say we're related. I don't see the resemblance, but
that's it. I think you should go as Old Man Biff for Halloween.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's make like a tree and leave.
You got it.
Yeah. I like when he's like, when Marty's like, "Are you two related?" He's like, "What do you think? He calls me Gramps for no reason." Like,
he just calls me Gramps for the fun of it.
Yeah. Whatever.
Gramps.